Hey everybody, Daryl and Holly with Exquisite Exotics here. Today's video is going to be one that we've gotten asked before, try a question we've been asked before, which is how do you get your GTP off of its perch or its branch or whatever you have it on right now. I will say this may not work for all GTPs. This is what works for ours. And ours was captive bred, so it's used to people ever since it's been born. So this may not work for a wild-caught GTP, but it works for ours, and we've also been doing it ever since they were small and neonate. So they've also gotten used to it, and they kind of know what's going on. So we're going to just show you what we actually do. I will say sometimes it takes a while to get them off of their branch, perch, whatever, so it may run. I'm not going to cut it because I want you guys to realize how long the time actually is. Sometimes they come off relatively quickly in a minute or two. Other times we've been there for like 10 minutes plus trying to get them to get started to get off their branch. So sometimes it does take a while for that to happen. But rather than just chit chat here about it, I'd rather go show it. Holly, before we go show it, anything?
Nope.
No? Alright, so let's go show that and we'll be right back. Alright, so of course this first part's going to be a little different. It depends on whether you're in a tub setup or kind of a cube setup like this. But it's kind of the same thing. No matter whether you have a tub or a cube, you need to get whatever they're perched on out, whether that's a stand, if it's a tub, or if you're like in a cube like this, it's a branch. So I'm going to go ahead and let Holly get in here. Go ahead and pull out that branch.
Yep.
Try to...
You gotta be gentle. He's right on the edge.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
And he's really heavy, so.
Alright. Let me zoom out a little second here, Holly.
Okay.
There we go. So for us, once you get him off of, you might need to hold him a little higher because of where the light is.
Sure.
There you go. Sorry, guys. Camera, trying to adjust camera and lighting at the same time. So for us, what we try to do is kind of, if you rub kind of underneath of him a little bit, underneath Holly. Typically, they'll start to come off their branch a little bit and uncoil. You see his head's already starting to move, and we'll zoom in on what Holly's doing. There. So she's kind of rubbing underneath his coils there in the back. And this can take a couple minutes sometimes, but typically, when you do stuff like this, they'll start coming off their branch a little bit, ever so slowly. There we go.
Hi.
You see he's starting to feel that there's something going on.
Definitely be careful. I've been bitten by him before, and it's quite different from a ball python.
So Holly, you probably want, rather than a whole hand, more like a, there we go, like a little bit underneath. Just like that. There you go. Just enough to tell him like, hey. And we've been doing this ever since he's little, so this has kind of been his cue to know that it's time to get off that branch. Whoop! Careful there. You see he got a little jumpy there.
This is really good that they understand that there's a
person.
There we go.
And then something else that can sometimes help is if you move them near something. So this might sound odd, but I'm going to have Holly come over here and put him near one of the gecko racks over that way. Sorry guys, shifting a little bit. There we go. Sometimes, when they start seeing stuff, they get interested in the fact that there's something higher than them that they can go to, especially with GTPs. So we'll see if that works today. Gotta use multiple tricks on getting them off sometimes. There you go. Move him a little closer to that rack. See? See how it gained his interest already? And all of a sudden he sees something that he's like, hey, I might be able to climb up higher on this than this branch that I'm on. And Holly just continues to kind of rub underneath. There you go. And now he's got his interest on something else. Oop. Holly, I'd move your hand back if I were you.
Nah. It's all good.
While we continue to watch what Holly's doing here to get him off the branch. It can take a couple minutes, so this is not a fast process.
Oh yeah, you don't want to just rip them off. You want them to feel comfortable.
While Holly's working on that, if you guys notice the blue spots on him all over him, he's got really, really good coloring.
I'm going to start to climb on my hand.
Let's see. Sorry for that background noise, guys.
Oh.
Can't control that. Alright. Think he's gonna come off today?
Yeah, eventually. But it might take a little while. So I don't know if I want to cut or we want to just keep trying.
No, I like people to see how long it takes to get them off here.
That's the wrong way to wrap, bud.
I don't think it's gonna come off today.
I don't
I think he's
so.
gonna be stubborn today.
I mean, maybe.
I think he's like, it's early morning, you keep messing with me. Oh, there we go. Starting, maybe.
Hi. There's the tongue flicking, exploring.
He's starting to uncoil a little bit. Just a little bit, not much though.
You're getting very heavy. Can you climb up my arm, please?
You see, he is starting to uncoil there a little bit. Now, Holly, so where your knuckle is there, careful. You're right on this tail.
Oh, this tail, yeah.
Yep.
I felt it.
So you gotta be careful. GTPs have a really, really thin, delicate tail. But, there you go. Now he's uncoiling. You can see him unwrapping here in the back. Try to stay zoomed out enough that you guys can see it. He's uncoiling now. Here, let me zoom out a little bit more. Yep, and now he's got an interest in that rack, like I mentioned, that he might think he can get somewhere higher. So now he's got something he's got interest in. So Holly, if you pull the stick further away from the rack, it'll force him to come off. There you go. And then Holly just replaces her hand. See how he just keeps going higher? But see that little trick there. Here, pull him away from the geckos. Don't want the geckos getting scared. But that little trick there got him to pull away. Are you able to step back, Holly, into the light a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So now we're almost off. Now you have to be really careful with their tail because it is kind of delicate. So sometimes you see he's up there trying to figure out how to get higher. So sometimes I'm going to just reach down here and kind of like rub his tail a little bit and see if we can get his tail to come off. You don't want to force them to come off. You want them to come off naturally. So we'll focus here a second, guys. You can see me rubbing his tail. This tail's just gonna come right off. And there we go. Yeah, I got the stick. And Holly's got him. And there you go. So if you don't mind.
Around my neck, right? Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna step this way a little, Holly, so you're a little more in light. There we go. So that's how you get your GTP.
Just letting him chill.
Yep, off the branch. I can't see him at all because he's behind you.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. So that's how you get your GTP off the branch.
You can't go that way.
You know, you let them explore around, do a little handling session, and then once you're done your handling session, you go ahead and put them back. So, there we go. That's how you get your GTP off the branch. Anything else to add to this part, Holly, before we go do our
Nope. I'm just
outro?
making sure he's steady. That's another thing is concentrate.
Yeah,
Don't just let them loose at this point.
Yep, you got to make sure they stay supported too, because they are arboreal. So,
Yep.
all right, we're going to go ahead and do a little handling session with him. We will put him back away, and then we'll come back with a closeout. So that's how we do it. Sorry, I know there was some lighting, probably darkness in there. That room's not really set up for doing videoing, and we probably should have had more than one light in there. So I apologize ahead of time or not ahead of time, but I apologize that the lighting wasn't the greatest for that. But hopefully you saw what we did. You know, just a little using a couple little tricks like rubbing underneath them. And then putting them near something that's taller than them so that they think they can go to basically a higher branch. Those two things have been really successful for us. And we've always been able to get them off. It sometimes takes a while. Even I know I mentioned like, oh, are they stubborn? Are they going to come off today? I don't think we've ever had a time that they haven't come off. It's just sometimes it takes a long time for them to get moving.
Yeah, that was definitely not very graceful. And, you know, we don't do movie magic here. We didn't cut it or anything. Like, so you saw what we would deal with actually.
Yeah. And I would say, you know, if you are afraid of getting bit, they do make bite-proof gloves. You could use something like that. Look at the look on their face. I mean, they do.
Yeah, but it's just I remember our memory lane with the purchase of the
Bite-proof gloves for Holly.
Yeah.
Anyway, they do make those. The brand we bought from is Tomahawk. And they make a lot of different gloves. We actually have several different kinds. Ones for more
gloves
like,
and hooks and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
They make a lot of good products.
Yeah, and they make, like, we have gloves that are more geared towards like our blood python and the GTP, a little more thicker. Yeah. And then we have little thin ones that are more like, hey, if you're trying to handle hatchlings and you're afraid of getting bit by hatchling ball pythons, these will protect you from those.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I said bite-proof. I should say bite-resistant gloves. They're not bite-proof. I would not use these if I was working with venomous snakes, which we don't, but I would not use them and say they're bite-proof. They're bite-resistant. Anything else, Holly? Go ahead.
Nope.
All right. If you guys have any other questions on things, and this is one we've gotten asked before, if you have other questions, feel free to put them down in the comments. We try to, if people leave questions that, need a whole video, we try to either do a video for it whenever we can. Sometimes it does take a while.
Add it to the list, but it'll be on there.
Yep. So we do try to get videos out for questions when we get them, or if it's something we can just answer in a comment, we may just answer in a comment. So I think that's it for this week. All right. As always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.